Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing. Don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about Impact Wrestling for August 19th, 2021. Man, tonight's show, man, they absolutely, man, stacked up this show tonight. They stacked up this show. They loaded it up too, man, because we have Emergence the next night on Friday. So yeah, it felt like it just came out of nowhere, man. Emergence, I'm guessing it's a pay-per-view because it's on Impact Plus. So yeah, yeah, it like for the Tonight Show, it just felt like they just got everybody on the show just to get everybody on the show. That's what it felt like. But yeah, it was absolutely stacked tonight. Absolutely stacked show. And as far as the matches go, the only match that I did enjoy was the Gallows and Doering match and that tag team match to start off the show. Even though I didn't agree with the Gallows and Doering match, even though I didn't agree to it happening, even though the match never should have happened with Joe Doering and Gallows, it was still a great match. But yeah, man. And Christian Cage, man, Christian Cage showed up tonight. He showed up tonight on Impact Wrestling. So it was a feel good moment for him, man. To be back to be back in a place where he made a name for himself. So yeah, man. So that was pretty much it with Impact Wrestling. It was decent though. It was decent. It wasn't the best show. It was fine for what it was. And so yeah, man. So yeah, that was Impact Wrestling. And yeah, man, if you haven't done this already, man, hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, this is your first time watching the video, hit the subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so we're the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I'm here every single week, man. Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, Thursdays for Impact Wrestling, Fridays for AEW Rampage, and Saturdays and Sundays are for the pay-per-views, whether it's AEW, Impact Wrestling, or WWE. So yeah, man. So we started off the show with Josh Mathews. So yeah, Josh Mathews and Gia Miller, they were in a ring. They were talking about the new unified world champion of Impact Wrestling, Christian Cage. And so they talked about Christian Cage. At first, I thought they were gonna introduce him to the ring, but they didn't. And so we had W Morrissey. We had W Morrissey and Eddie Edwards. They fought. They fought in the back, and so they brought it out to the ring. And so Edwards, he had a tope suicida. He had a tope suicida on Morrissey, which was a bad landing too, man. He looked like he hurt himself off that tope. And so he had a big boot to Edwards. And so Sami Callihan, he came out to even up the odds, I guess, or not even up the odds, but I guess to help out Eddie Edwards. And so Sami Callihan, he took out Morrissey with the bat. And so Callihan and Edwards, they fought off Morrissey together. And so you had the security people that came out to try to break up the fight. And so Edwards, he was telling Sami Callihan like, "Hey man, I didn't ask for your help. I didn't ask for your help. I didn't need your help." And so Callihan, he was like I wanted to help you. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, Sami Callihan, he grabbed the microphone and he called out his opponents tonight. You know, because it was supposed to be a tag team match tonight. You know, with Sami Callihan, Chris Sabin versus Moose and Ace Austin. And so yeah, man. So yeah, fiery open to a show, man. You know, I always love like a fiery open to a show, man. It just brings a lot of chaos, man, and that unpredictability, man. So yeah, so that was it to start off the show. And so our first match of the night, we had the not the tag team championship match, but the tag team match. And so it was Sami Callihan, the draw, Sami Callihan and Chris Sabin versus Ace Austin with Madman Fulton in his corner and Moose. So yeah, man. Yeah, this is a good match, man. Really good match to start off the show, man. So yeah, all these guys there are number one contenders for the Impact World Championship. No. Yeah, they will be number one contenders. Whoever wins the match will be not this match. Whoever wins the Fatal 4-Way at Emergence on Friday will be the number one contender for Christian Cage's Impact World Championship. You know, right after Emergence, right after he defended the championship against Brian Myers. And so yeah, man. So we had a Death Valley driver to Austin from Callihan, which was nasty, man. Like Austin, man, he landed right on his head off of that Death Valley driver. And so we had kicks to Austin from Callihan and Sabin. So they were taking turns at kicking Austin. And so Sabin, he took out Moose. And then we had a drop kick to Sabin from Austin. And so that's when the Heels had to control of the match. And so Moose, he had chopped Sabin outside the ring. And so the crowd started chanting for one more time to chop Sabin. And so instead of chopping Sabin, he went right after Sabin's eyes. And so, yeah, we had a hot tag to Callihan. He took out Austin and Moose. And so, yeah, so Sami Callihan, he was working on Ace Austin. He was stomping on him in the corner. And so he actually stomped on him in his face. He stomped on his face. And then right after that, man, he leveled him. He leveled him with a clothesline, man. And he landed inside out, man. He landed right on his neck. Ace Austin did. He landed right on his neck off of that clothesline from Sami Callihan. And so we had a diving DDT to Moose from Sabin. And so we had a pop-up powerbomb to Austin from Callihan. He kicks out. And so Callihan, he was about to go for his finishing move, that power driver, that package power driver. But Sabin, he had tagged himself in. And so Callihan, he did not like that. And so Sabin, he had his finishing move, the cradle shock to Austin to win the match. So Chris Sabin and Sami Callihan wins the match. And so right after the match, we had Sami Callihan hit the power driver. He hit the power driver on Sabin. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. That was it with the match. So of course, as I mentioned earlier, all four of these guys, they will be competing at Emergence for a number one contender spot. And yeah, man. Yeah, and they like earlier, man, they stacked up this show. They stacked up this show with guys that's competing at Emergence. Like the four of these guys, they competing at Emergence, and even though it was a good match and everything, you know, like none of these guys should be losing. Like none of these guys should be losing. They going into a match, a number one contenders match. So shouldn't they all be looking strong? You could have easily done something else. Maybe like a interview or something like that, or a face-to-face confrontation, not a tag team match. But yeah, man. But yeah, it was still a good match though. But I would have went about it a different way. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had a video. So we had a video of a match. It was between Jon Moxley and Yuji Nagata versus the Good Brothers at Resurgence. So Resurgence was this last weekend. And so yeah, we had the Gorillas of Destiny. The Gorillas of Destiny, they confronted the Good Brothers at Resurgence. And so the Good Brothers had left the ring. And so yeah, that was it from that video. And so right after that, speaking of the Good Brothers, they spoke. The Impact World Tag Team Champions, Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson. They spoke. They talk about their resurgence match that they had with Moxley and Yuji Nagata. And so the Good Brothers, they talked about Gorillas of Destiny, and they said that they're not worth their time and all that stuff. And so, and then they focused their attention on Joe Doering. Gallows did, and so he said that the match with Joe Doering is just the appetizer. And so Gallows, he says that at Emergence, he and Karl Anderson, they will retain the Impact World Tag Team Championships. And so, a Magic Killer and a 1-2-3 and just a 2, sweet. And so yeah, that was it with that. So it's gonna be a triple threat tag team championship match. Willie Mack, Rich Swann versus Violent by Design versus the Good Brothers. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Sami Callihan. He was backstage. He spoke and he talked about Chris Sabin poking the bear. Saying that he had to did. He did what he did to Sabin because he stole my spotlight. And so yeah, and then he talked about the Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match, and him saying that he wants another shot at the championship. And yeah, so we had Eddie Edwards. He came in and he confronted Sami Callihan. And he was still telling Callihan like, "Hey man, I don't need your help. I don't need your help." And so Callihan, he was like, "Man, I have better things to focus on than focusing on you. So why don't you just get out of my face?" And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so yeah, why did he help him out? Why did he help him out? That's what I want to know. Why did he help him out? And yeah, why did he help him out? And what does Sami Callihan has to do with W. Morrissey? I don't know. But yeah, so right after that, man, we had Shera. We had Shera with Rohit Raju versus Matt Cardona, always ready. Matt Cardona with Chelsea Green in his corner. And so yeah, so we had Cardona. Shera. He had used his power against Cardona. And then Cardona ended up fighting back. He had a baseball slide drop kick to Shera. He followed up with a tope con hero. And so Raju at one point he had grabbed at Cardona's foot and the referee saw it. So the referee should have ejected Raju from ringside, but he didn't. And so Shera he had took advantage of took advantage off of that distraction. And so that's when Shera took control of the match. And so Raju he had punched Cardona in his face from outside the ring, so it was a cheap shot from Raju. And so Chelsea Green started arguing with Raju. And so Cardona ended up fighting back. He had a diving drop kick to Shera. And then Shera hit a choke breaker to Cardona. So shades of Nick Gage right there. His rival, Matt Cardona's rival, Nick Gage. And so we had a power slam. To Cardona. And he kicks out. And then Raju, he got on the apron at the second time. Not the second time, but this is the second time getting involved in the match. And so Chelsea Green, she got tired of it. She got tired of Rohit Raju getting involved in the match. So Green, she had slapped Raju in his face. And so to end the match, we had a diving radio silence to Shera to win the match. So Matt Cardona wins the match. And that was it with it, man. Nothing much to it, man. It was just a warm-up match to get Cardona ready for Emergence because he is fighting Raju at Emergence. And so yeah, man. So yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Madison Rayne and Tenille Dashwood. So we had Madison Rayne. She had a talk show, the Locker Room Talk. And we also had the Tenille Dashwood All About Me talk show. So they were a split screen. And they had their own separate shows while doing a split screen. And so yeah, Johnny Swinger, he was there. He was on Madison Rayne's show. He talked about his casino and all that stuff. And you had Kaleb, of course, with Tenille Dashwood. And so Rayne and Dashwood, they were talking in split screen. So Rayne had asked Dashwood the question like, why did you align with Madison Rayne? And so Dashwood, she said that, she was, for the longest, she'd been trying to look for a partner to go after those Impact Knockouts tag team titles. And she finally found the right partner. And so at one point we had Swinger and Kaleb. They were arguing about something. I don't know what it was about. I don't care. But they were arguing, and that was it, man. Yeah. Waste of time, man. So yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Gia Miller. She interviews Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, who is the X Division champion. And so Gia Miller, she had asked Josh about Jake something, his opponent at Emergence, Jake something. And so Alexander, he says that, he doesn't care how big or tough Jake 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 something is. He doesn't care how big or tough Jake something is, but he's not concerned. He's not concerned. And so then Josh Alexander, he started talking about Christian Cage. He talked about Christian Cage becoming the Impact World Champion, new Impact World Champion. And so Alexander, he said that Christian is a legend. He's a legend in his business and in Impact Wrestling. And he knows how much the World Championship means to him. So, yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's going to carry Impact Wrestling to the future. And so Alexander, he says that, he's still not concerned with Jake something, because Jake something, he had interrupted the promo. And so Jake, he had said that, the reason why you're not concerned is because you're not paying attention. And so Jake, he has said he's going to give him a reason. He's going to give Josh Alexander a reason to pay attention. And so Jake, he had walked up to Scott D'Amore, who was backstage with Kaleb. He was talking to Kaleb. And so, yeah, so Kaleb, he has the whole neck brace on and all that stuff. And so Scott saying that Kaleb is not, he's not medically cleared to compete. And so Kaleb was trying to hype himself up, saying that he's medically cleared to compete. And so, yeah, so Jake, he had went to Scott and he said that he wants a match tonight. And so Scott, he has said that, there's not enough people here right now. It's not enough people, right? They're not enough people here right now. So what you have to do, you're gonna have to find someone who's medically cleared to compete, and then you'll have your match. And so Scott, he had came up with an idea, and he said, since you're medically cleared to compete, Kaleb, you and Jake are gonna have a match. Not only will you guys have a match, but it's gonna be a no disqualification match. And so yeah, so Kaleb, he didn't like the idea, so that was the match later on tonight. Kaleb versus Jake something in a no disqualification match. And so yeah, man, so that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Christian Cage, who is the Impact World Champion, and he came out to the ring, so he spoke. And so we had a welcome back chant from the crowd to Cage. And so Cage, he had said that, it's great to be back in the Impact Zone after 9 years. And so he said that it was an honor. It was an honor to take the championship away from Kenny Omega and bring it back to Impact Wrestling where it belongs. And so Christian Cage, he started talking about, his history and everything. And he talked about 2005, the year of 2005, when he left the biggest wrestling company in the world. He was talking about WWE. He didn't mention them by name. He just said the biggest wrestling company in the world. And so he left the WWE and he went to Impact Wrestling, a place where, a place that gave him a chance to make a name for himself, a place that, gave him an opportunity to win a championship, a place where he won his first world championship. And so Cage, he had thanks the crowd. He said thank you to the crowd. And so we had a "You deserve it" chant from the crowd. And so so Cage, he was holding the TNA championship. He was looking at it funny. Like he was looking at it in like it looked like he was looking at it like in a disgusted way. Like he didn't know like why he had it in his hand. But he had the Impact World Championship wrapped around his waist, and he had the TNA Championship in his hand, and so he kept holding the championship up and kept looking at it, kept looking back and forth at that championship. And so Cage, he had said that he's gonna retire the TNA Championship, and he says that it's about the future and not about his past. And so he handed the TNA Championship to the ring announcer, and so the ring announcer took it to the back. And so yeah, so Brian Myers, he interrupted the number one contender. Brian Myers, the most professional wrestler. Brian Myers, he interrupted with Sam Bill. And so Myers, he has said that he doesn't live in the past and doesn't want to talk about the past. And so Myers said that he's been killing it. He's been killing it in Impact Wrestling. And so Myers, he has said that he will win the Impact World Championship at Emergence tomorrow on Friday. And so Cage, he has said that he's glad that Brian Myers climbed out of Matt Cardona's shadow. And so Cage, he has said that, you may have won the battle royal. You may have won the battle royal, but you're never gonna win something. You're never gonna win a championship. You're never gonna win the Impact World Championship. And so Cage, she had said that you may be the most professional wrestler in the world. You may be the most professional wrestler in the world, but I'm the best professional wrestler in the world. And so Myers, he didn't have nothing to say. And so he tried to push Sam Bill into Christian Cage, but Christian Cage saw it coming. And so he punched Sam Bill in his face. And so Myers, he tried to get a one up. He tried to get the one up on Cage, but Cage saw it coming. And so Myers, he had scattered out of the ring. And so yeah, so that was it with that. So yeah, great promo from Christian, man. As always, man. Christian has always been great on the mic. And it was a feel good moment. It was a feel good moment for Christian to be back in Impact Wrestling, a place where he made a bigger name for himself, a place that gave him an opportunity. He never had an opportunity in WWE. Never. You know, when he left that first time, him going to Impact Wrestling was the best move for him. The best move because he became a bigger name. He became a bigger name in Impact. And to be honest, man, like I started watching wrestling when I was like 8 years old. Like I watched WWE and I watched Impact Wrestling or TNA at the time. It was TNA at the time, so I used to watch TNA and WWE. And so on TNA, I saw Christian Cage. I saw the Christian Cages of the world, the Samoa Joes, the AJ Styles, the Chris Sabins and Christopher Daniels, the Frankie Kazarians. You know, the TNA OGs, Eric Young, the TNA OGs, man. The first person that I saw was Christian Cage. Christian Cage was the first person I saw. And so that's how I knew Christian Cage. That's how I knew Christian Cage. I knew him as Christian Cage and not Christian. And so yeah, when he came back to the WWE in 2009, I think it was, he was only in Impact for a short time, and for 3 years, I think it was. He made a big name for himself in 3 years, bro. And so yeah, when he came back to WWE in like 2009, I was like, oh snap, man, that's Christian Cage. That's Christian Cage. And so yeah, and we had a few. I think when he had a few with Edge or something like that. Like I didn't even know. I didn't much knew that he had history with Edge at that time. Back in the day. Because I just started watching wrestling when I was 8. But yeah, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know that he and Edge had a long history. And so yeah, man. So yeah, man. So yeah, that was it from Christian. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had Melina. She was backstage. She talked about she was walking backstage. She was walking backstage and she ran into Trey Miguel. And so Trey Miguel had asked Melina, can she still do the splits and all that stuff? And so Melina, she said that you'll see. And so of course that was Melina. She had an Impact Wrestling debut match later on tonight. And so right after that, we had Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts champion. And so yeah, so they showed a video of Deonna Purrazzo. She was competing at the AAA event, that they had this past weekend, and she won the AAA Women's Championship, their women's title. And so yeah, so we have Deonna 2 belts, a Purrazzo 2 belts. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Melina. We had Melina versus Brandi Lauren. So this was a squash match, a squash match. And so yeah, we had a drop kick to Lauren, and then Lauren, she started fighting back. She had a neck record to Melina, and then Melina, she had a crossbody on her. And so Melina at one point she had gave Lauren a knee drop or a knee strike to her back, and so that it looked like it was painful. Like the way that she hit that knee strike on her back, it was painful. So yeah, we had the Muda lock. To the end of the match, we had the Muda lock turn into the California Dream submission move to Lauren to win the match. So Lauren taps out. So therefore Melina wins the match. And so yeah, that was her debut match. It did look like she was a little. It looked like she hasn't been in the ring for a while. I don't know how long she's been out of the ring, but she did look a little rusty and it looked like she lost her footing in the ring. But she wasn't bad. She wasn't bad. It just looked like she was a bit ring rust. And so yeah, so right after the match, we had Deonna Purrazzo. She attacked Melina from behind, and so Melina started fighting back. And you had Matthew Raywalt, aka Aiden English. He came out and he dragged Melina off of Deonna Purrazzo. And so yeah, Trey Miguel, he came out and attacked Matthew Raywalt. And so yeah, so so Trey Miguel and Melina, they teamed up against Perazo and Raywalt, so they took them out. So the baby faces, they stood tall, and yeah, man, that was pretty much it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Gia Miller. We had Gia Miller. She interviews John Skyler. So John Skyler, he was the guy that beat Matt Cardona last week on Impact. And so Gia Miller, she had asked about his shocking victory. And so Skyler had said that, you know, me beating Matt Cardona, it was not shocking. And so, yeah, it was shocking, man. It was shocking. And so, yeah, so Skyler, he had said that Rohit Raju and, the reason why he won wasn't because of Rohit Raju and Shera. That is the truth. The reason why he did win was because of Shera and Rohit Raju. And so, yeah, he said that it wasn't because of them. It was the fact that he showed him that he was better. He was the better man. And so, yeah, the interview got cut short. And we had Juice Robinson. He was laid out on the ground. He was mysteriously attacked by somebody. You had David Finlay. He was screaming out for help and everything. And so everybody wanted to know who did it. So Finlay, he asked Juice like who did it. And so Juice couldn't talk. And so yeah, if I had to guess, it was probably Chris Bay and Jay White. It was probably one of them. Because they have beef in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it was probably one of them. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a vignette from Jordan Grace. She talked about her weightlifting competition. She was at a weightlifting competition, and she talked about her breaking records, and that was it. And so yeah, man. So right after that, we had the no disqualification match between Jake something versus Kaleb with a K. And so we had a Jake is gonna kill you chant from the crowd. And so Jake, he started throwing Kaleb around. We had a discus clothesline to Kaleb, and then Jake, he had a powerbomb, a beautiful powerbomb to Kaleb. And so Jake, he had brought out a table, and he speared Kaleb. He speared Kaleb through the table for the win. So therefore, Jake something wins. So yeah, just like earlier, man, it was a warm up match. It was a warm up match for Jake. You want to have him look strong for his championship opportunity match. And so yeah, man. So right after the match, we had Josh Alexander. He came out to the ring and he held up the title in Jake's face. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. So Jake something versus Kaleb. Jake something versus Josh Alexander. At Emergence, I'm going with Josh Alexander to win. And Jake, I think he's gonna turn heel because he's been acting heelish. He acted heelish tonight, and he was acting heelish last week. And so yeah, so I think he's gonna turn heel. I think he's gonna turn heel because right now, man, as a babyface, man, he's not connecting with the crowd as a babyface, and he looks like a person that will play a great heel. This monster heel. Like that'll probably be the best option for him. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Su Yung. We had Su Yung. Su Yung and Kimber Lee. So Su Yung and Kimber Lee, they did their little vignette. And so Su Yung, she had a strand of Kiera Hogan's hair, that blue hair. And so Kimber Lee, she started talking. She called Su Yung mother. Mother, I collected the first soul, and it won't be the last soul that I collect. And so that was pretty much it with that. So yeah, Su Yung and Kimber Lee most likely will be going after those tag team titles, Impact Knockouts tag team titles. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so before we talk about next week's show, they ain't announced anything for next week's show. Yeah, yeah, they ain't announced anything for next week's show. It's Emergence. Emergence is tomorrow, so that's crazy, man. So yeah, so yeah, we had the main event. We had the main event, and it was Joe Doering. So it was Joe Doering representing Violent by Design with Violent by Design in his corner. So that's Eric Young, Rhino, and Diener versus Doc Gallows, who is one half of the Impact Tag Team Champions, with Karl Anderson in his corner, the other half of the Impact Tag Team Champions. So yeah, this is probably the best match on the show, man. The best match on the show. Even though I didn't agree with the match happening, even though the match never should have happened, because none of these guys can't afford to lose. This is probably the best match on the show. So yeah, so both of these guys, they were going back and forth. And at one point, Doering, he sent Gallows out of the ring. And then Gallows, he started fighting back. And we went to commercial break. No picture in picture. Thought I was going to say picture in picture. But no picture in picture. And so we had a German suplex to Gallows, which was nice. And then Doering, he had a vertical delayed suplex to Gallows. And so Gallows, he started throwing Doering into the guardrail. And so Gallows, at one point, he had threw a chair. He had threw a chair at Doering's leg. And so I was like, referee, come on. It should have been a disqualification. But they're not going to end the main event in a disqualification. But yeah, logically, it would have been a disqualification. But this wasn't a no disqualification match. And so yeah, so both of these guys, they shoulder tackled each other outside of the ring, or they shoulder tackled each other in the ring, and they knocked each other out of the ring. And so Gallows, he started throwing a temper tantrum, so he started throwing a ring bell around, he started throwing chairs around and all that stuff. And so both of these guys, they were fighting outside of the ring. And so they fought up on the stage, and then we had Gallows, he had the sit out spine buster, or the sky high, shades of D'Lo Brown right there. On the stage. So he hit the sky high on the stage through the stage on Doering. So he hit the sky high on Doering through the stage. So the stage, it went through the stage. And so yeah, the crowd started chanting, "That was awesome. That was awesome." Yeah, that was awesome, man. And so so none of these guys were moving. None of these guys were not moving. And so we had Dr. Ross and Scott D'Amore and the rest of the security people that came out to check on Doering and Gallows, and none of these guys were moving. And so, yeah, they did end up moving. Gallows, he moved away first. And so the people, they try to help him up to his feet, but Gallows, he just pushed them away, pushed everybody away that tried to help him. And so he crawled to the ring. So Gallows crawled to the ring. And so, yeah, he crawled back into the ring. And so, yeah, Joe Doering, he did the same thing, but this time he limped to the ring. He didn't crawl to the ring, he limped to the ring. And so, yeah, so they both slid in the ring. Gallows was already in the ring, and so Joe Doering, he followed him into the ring. And so they both ended up fighting. And then to end the match, we had a clothesline. We had a clothesline in midair to Gallows to win the match. So Joe Doering wins the match. And that was it, man. Really good match. They built this match up, man. Like they made this match into a big deal, man. Like last week and this week. The battle of the horses. I think they coined it as the battle of the horses. And yeah, man, so yeah, didn't agree with the match, didn't agree with the outcome. Champions should never lose. Joe Doering sure as hell couldn't lose either, because he's the monster in Violent by Design, and you can't have a guy like him pin. And yeah, so yeah, none of these guys should have lost. None of these guys should have lost. But yeah, man. Yeah, this show, man. They stacked up this show, man. They stacked it up. They just put everybody on the show just to put everybody on the show. And like, dude, you have a Emergence show tomorrow. You have the show tomorrow, Emergence. You have it tomorrow. So why are the shows so close together? Why is it so close together? Why can't you just put it somewhere else on another day? You know, like that's odd. That's odd to have a pay-per-view. I don't even think it's a pay-per-view. It's just well, it is on Impact Plus, so I'm guessing it is a pay-per-view. So yeah, but that's odd though to have a pay-per-view a day, like to have a go home show a day before the pay-per-view, man. That's crazy, man. But yeah, man, that was it with Impact Wrestling, man. That was it. And yeah, man, that was it with Impact Wrestling. It was okay. It was fine. It wasn't the best show. It was a newsworthy show, but yeah, it was fine. It was fine for what it was. It was fine. You know, this match was probably the best match on the show. That tag team match from earlier to start off the show was really good. You know, but yeah, man, that was it with Impact Wrestling. And oh yeah, predictions for Emergence. So our first match on Emergence, we have Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, and Matthew Raywalt versus Trey Miguel and Melina. And so who wins this match? I'm going with Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt. Now, in this match, since Melina and Deonna Purrazzo are opponents, I would not have either one of them pin. I wouldn't have either one of them pin. I'll have one of the guys pin. One of the guys pin. Because you don't want them to be in the ring together. Period, man. You don't want them to pin one another in the ring. Like, dude, you just giving away parts of the match. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would just have the guys. I would just have the guys compete and not the women. Don't like. Why is it a mixed tag team match? I don't know why it's a mix. I know why it's a mixed tag team match, but like, why does it has to be a mixed tag team match? But yeah, but they're gonna see each other at the NWA Empower show. So yeah, I don't know why they're competing against each other when they have a pay-per-view match on a 28. So yeah, I'm going with Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt to win the match. Because there's no way Deonna Purrazzo should lose as the champion on a team or get pinned. If they are gonna lose, then Matthew Raywalt is gonna get pinned. But they're not losing. Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt, they are not losing. They just won Homecoming. They just won Homecoming, King and Queen. So they're not losing. So the people that's gonna lose, the person that gets pinned in this match is most likely Trey Miguel. And yeah, Melina can't lose either because she's number one contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship. And so yeah, man. So yeah, right after that we have Rohit Raju versus Matt Cardona. Always ready, Matt Cardona, with Chelsea Green in his corner and Shera in Rohit Raju's corner. So with this, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Matt Cardona. I'm gonna go with always ready Matt Cardona. I'm gonna go with Cardona, and right after Cardona, he needs to go after a championship, whether it's the X Division Championship or the Impact World Title. I'll most likely send him after the X Division Championship. Because just the road that he's been on right now, Matt Cardona, him having his match with Nick Gage and becoming the GCW World Champion and all that stuff. Give him the win, man. Give him the win. And so right after that, we have Steve Macklin versus Petey Williams at Emergence. So Steve Macklin, of course, and Steve Macklin is another person that should be going after a championship. And I think he did say he's going after a championship. He's going after a championship. He's going to go through Petey Williams first. So what better person to go through first than a former X Division champion himself in Petey Williams? And then we have Madison Rayne with Tenille Dashwood in her corner. Tenille and Kaleb in her corner versus Taylor Wilde. So I'm going with Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne is not going to lose in her first match back. So Madison Rayne is going to win. And also we have Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, Fallah Bahh, and Noe Jose versus Decay. That's Black Taurus, Rosemary and Havoc, who are the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions, and Crazy Steve. Tasha Steelz I'm going with Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, and Noe Jose and Fallah Bahh to win the match. And yeah. Well, you have champions. You have champions on the case, so they can't lose. But you just debuted Savannah Evans. You just debuted Savannah Evans, so you can't have her lose. So either No Way Jose or Fallah Bahh getting pinned in this match. And Tasha Steelz not losing either, man, because she just turned heel. Or she was already a heel. She just turned on her partner and she just hired this new bodyguard, this new assassin. So yeah, I'm going with Tasha Steelz. I'm going with the heels to win the match. Or not the heels to win the match. Yeah. If the heels win the match, then either Black Taurus or Crazy Steve getting pinned, and it most likely might be Crazy Steve getting pinned. So if I had to choose a team to win, my gut says Tasha Steelz team. And then we have Josh Alexander versus Jake Something for the X Division Championship. I'm going with Josh Alexander to retain the championship, and Jake Something is going to turn heel. And also we have the Fatal 4-Way, number one contenders match. It's going to be Moose versus Ace Austin versus Sami Callihan versus Chris Sabin. And the winner of that match will either face Brian Myers or Christian Cage. And so I'm going with Moose, man. I don't know. I don't know anymore about Moose. I don't know anymore. Sami Callihan, he already had his shot at the Impact World Championship. So did Moose. The only people that haven't had a championship opportunity against the World Championship was Sabin and Austin. So it might be Sabin, but if it's gonna be Moose, man, if it's gonna be Moose, he better win the championship. But I don't think Moose is gonna win this match because, like, if you just have him win the number one contender spot and he lose, it's gonna be all for nothing. And and like the thing is though, Christian Cage is not gonna lose that title because he just won the title. He just won the Impact World Championship. So whoever wins this Fatal 4-Way is the loser, man. Is the loser at the end. So if I had to pick, I would normally go with Moose, but I'm going with Chris Sabin. I'm going with Chris Sabin. Either Chris Sabin or Ace Austin. But if I had to pick, I'm going with Chris Sabin. And also we have the Impact World Championship title match. The Impact World Championship match. And it's going to be the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers versus Christian Cage. And Christian Cage is going to retain the championship. And also we have the Triple Threat Impact Tag Team Championship match. It's going to be Violent by Design. So it's going to be Joe Doering and Rhino of Violent by Design versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus the Good Brothers. So, yeah, I know just like the Moose situation, I normally go with Violent by Design to win the match. But this time, I'm going to have to go with the Good Brothers to retain the championships. I'm going to have to go with the Good Brothers to retain the championships. Because, they're doing their thing with the Elite and AEW, and they have all the gold. So I don't think taking the championships off of them is the right move right now. But yeah, man. So yeah, Good Brothers is gonna win, retain the titles, and so yeah, man. So that's it with the Emergence. That's it with Emergence and the card for Emergence and my predictions on who I think are gonna win the match. And yeah, man. And that's it. That was it with Impact Wrestling, and that was it with the predictions. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, if you're watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I am here every single week, man. Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, Thursdays for Impact Wrestling, Fridays for AEW Rampage, Saturdays and Sundays are for the pay-per-views, whether it's AEW, WWE, or Impact Wrestling. In this case, Saturdays and Sunday is WWE. So I'll see you guys then. And yeah, man, follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And comment down below. Tell me how you felt about this episode of Impact Wrestling. And share this video. Share this video with each and every single person that you come across. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys on Friday for Emergence. I'll see you guys on Friday for Emergence. And I'll see you guys on Friday for AEW Rampage. So double duty, man. Double duty on Friday. Double duty is on Friday. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but Emergence start first. So I'm going to do, I think, yeah, they said it started at 6 o'clock Central Time. I think it started at 6 o'clock Central Time, so it'll probably end at like around 8 o'clock. So I'll do the review. Or 7 Central, I think. I think 7. I think 7. I think 7 o'clock. Where I'm at, I'm in Central Time Zone, so it might start at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock for me. But I think the last time I heard, I thought it was 7 o'clock. But yeah, I'll go ahead, like whatever time it starts, I'm gonna do the review first. I might have it all jammed up in one video. I might have it jammed up in one idea, like one video, because I don't want to do 2 separate videos. I'd much rather do like one whole video. And so yeah, man. So yeah, that's what I might do. Or I might just do the review first, the Emergence review first, and then wait for Dynamite to happen, and then just include the Dynamite video with the Emergence video. Might just do that and just mix it together, like I did with the Slammiversary and the Money in the Bank review. Kind of like that, probably. But yeah, man. So yeah, man. So that's what I might do. See you guys on Friday for Emergence and AEW Rampage. And once again, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love and the support for the show. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. And yeah, man, and this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. And if you miss my last week's review of Impact Wrestling, the video is going to be right up here in this corner. And a link to that video will be down below in the description. So make sure you click this video up here or click down below in the description if you miss anything. And yeah, man, this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.